I love hosting New Year's Eve.
Sorry.
That said, it can get a little chaotic. Thankfully, I made sure the party was stocked with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Drizzly lets you compare prices on a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits, then get them delivered right to your door. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
Feel from the deepest part of your loins the ancestors that came before you and their ancestors. Feel it right in your penis chakra. Feel it deep in your penis chakra. Then imagine you have a vachakra, the chakra of a vagina. Now our ancestors are really talking to each other. Yeah, this is the place. Look deep inside your manhole. Find inner peace, inner sanctum in your inner rectum.
Coming up on this episode of The Commercial Break.
Did you ever go to space camp?
Space
I
camp?
wanted to go to space camp.
Shit, yeah, I went to space camp. Me and little Jeffery Toobin Jr. Two of us went to space camp together. I'll tell you what, Jeffery Toobin's running around space camp down there in Huntsville, Alabama, whacking his doodle all around. Every time we had a space class, all of a sudden it's Toobs hanging out of the pants.
Toobs. Classic.
Numerologically, they were next door to each other. So it'd be like Channel 31 was like USA Network that used to just show trashy movies 24 hours a day.
Yes.
And then Channel 32 was Skinamax, right? But then it had a little squiggly thing. So, you know, squiggly lines. So I'd plant it on Channel 31, and then every once in a while, I'd boop or bop up to Channel 32 to see if I could see a squiggly tit or something like that.
Yes.
You know, just to get, you know, when you're that age, anything's exciting.
Exactly.
And so then he goes, have y'all ever been here before? And I kicked Astrid under the table. And luckily, Astrid and I speak the same foot language because we were both like, yes.
Yep.
But he says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. Just, if y'all have just 1 second, I'd just like to do this with everybody that comes in the door because I think it's really important. How long has it been since y'all been here? And I'm like, I go, I don't know, maybe it was like a month ago. You know, Astrid's like, month. At the same time, I say month, and Astrid says year. Like, you know, it was a year ago, a month ago. And he's like, oh, well, if y'all were here a month ago, things have changed. Everything has changed. It's a seasonal menu. It changes every 16 and a half days.
The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
You know what my version of a scary movie is?
What's that, Brian?
What's that book that all the women read? The you know what I'm talking about? The one with the whips and the chains.
Oh, right. Something gray.
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey, yes.
That's I had it written down here. I couldn't remember it. 50 Shades of Grey is my version of a scary, like that's about as scary as it gets in this household.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I can't deal with it, even though it's like, you know, Halloween-y time.
Yeah.
And it's cute for the kids because we get to, you know, buy them some kind of obnoxious outfit that they run around in. But scary movies are not a thing in my house. My wife absolutely hates them. She absolutely hates it. Yeah, she doesn't even like murder mystery type stuff. It's just not for her. But, you know, she grew up in Venezuela where it's like a living nightmare.
Like a living, yeah.
So she's like,
exactly.
You know, I'm not having anything to do with it. Are you guys into scary movies over there?
I absolutely love scary movies and I love murder mystery stuff. I grew up. My dad's a big, his mother's British, you know, and we grew up watching some PBS stuff. So Agatha Christie was always one.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That we liked. Yeah. And then like Murder, She Wrote. I remember that one. I like that one. But most importantly, I really got into the scary horror movies when I was young. My mom let me watch Nightmare on Elm Street.
Why would she let you do that?
Really
we did too. I remember that we had like a sleepover one time.
Yeah, it was
and
a slumber party.
My parents would never let us watch Nightmare on Elm Street. That was going to be a no fucking go, right? However, we went over to the neighbor's house and had a big slumber party, and it was like the first real scary movie, like horror slasher type film that my twin brother and I had ever seen, and we did not make it through the night at that guy's house because I don't know if it was me or if it was Kevin. It was probably me, but it was just scary. It was a scary thing. And I mean, I was probably
Freddy
8.
Krueger.
Yeah, 7 or 8. And Freddy Krueger. But I do remember in my teenage years, like young teenage years, like we would watch scary movies just for the shits and giggles of watching scary movies.
Yes.
Yeah. And then try and.
Like The Shining is my all-time favorite.
I love The Shining, but I don't consider that like.
Psychological.
Yeah, that's a psychological thriller. I don't really consider that like a horror movie. I mean, I don't know. That's a good debate. Is The Shining a horror movie? It's
pretty horrific.
It's pretty horrific, but it's just it's really more like a character study of a man losing his fucking marbles.
Yes.
Right. And then have you seen the part 2 to The Shining that came out recently with Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, I read the book and watched the movie. It's Dr. Death.
Dr. Death. Yeah, it's running on HBO right now. I watched it.
I like the book a little bit more than the movie, but that's the way it usually goes.
The only reason why I would watch scary movies is because they would often come on. So like we had cable pretty early on, both where in Chicago where we lived, and then when we moved here to Atlanta, the whole house had cable, and that was like the coolest thing. And we got a TV in one of my rooms, and then some of these channels, they would show the horror movies really late at night in between the softcore porn that they would watch. Right. But those were the pay channels, and we didn't have the pay channels, but they were numerologically, they were next door to each other. So it'd be like channel 31 was like USA Network that used to just show trashy movies 24 hours a day. Yes. And then channel 32 was Skinamax, right? But then it had a little squiggly thing. So, the squiggly lines. So I'd plant it on channel 31, and then every once in a while I'd boop or bop up to channel 32 to see if I could see a squiggly tit or something like that. Yes. Just to get, when you're that age, anything's exciting. Exactly. Now you have the internet and porn. It's just too easy now. Back then you had to work for it. I know. Yeah. You had to wait for the Macy's catalog to come.
The Victoria's Secret.
Well, no, it wasn't even Victoria's Secret back then. It was just like Sears Roebuck. You had to look for, the tractor supply company. It's tractor, farming girdles. And you'd be like, oh, that's a tit. Look at that. That's a boob. You'd go to town. You'd pull a Toobin right there. Oh, classic Toobin. I'm telling you, that Toobs always pulling out his cock.
I was barely. Is he? Is he known?
That's just like that. In my experience with the Toobs, which I refer to him. In my experience, the Toobs is he's such a character. He's always whacking out his cock and just doing it all over the place. Listen, nary a Zoom call goes by with the Toobs that you don't see his dick. I mean, it's just like, go Toobs, get to town.
I had no idea that was a thing, but when I heard about it, I was very shocked. He's prominent. I mean, that's going to follow him for a while.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Warner Brothers fourth quarter corporate earnings call. On the phone call today is CEO Jeff Zucker, head of our news and opinion division, Jeffrey. Oh, there's Jeff's cock. Look at that. That's classic, Toobs. What you doing over there, Toobs?
Getting one off real quick, boss.
Great. We're just going to continue with the call. I'd like to direct everybody to page 32 in the prospectus. We're talking about capital expense. Oh, look at that. It just jizzed all over.
Classic Toobs.
Classic Toobs.
I mean, listen, that is, I get it. It was a mistake that was made. For those of you that don't know, and I don't understand how you could not know, unless you had your head in a freaking hole, but Jeffery Toobin, who is both a contributor to CNN, on political matters, and then he writes for the New York Times. Am I right about that?
The New Yorker.
The New Yorker. Oh, even more highbrow. I thought it was the New York Times.
And I think it's the New Yorker.
Okay. So he's on the New Yorker. So it's like a highbrow magazine. He's in his 60s. He's been doing this since the day that he was born. He's like a well-respected reporter. Yes. This guy is not some, young buck at Vice News. He is like a well-respected reporter. Yeah. And he was on a Zoom call where they were practicing for the election. And this is what these news organizations do. They practice, what are we going to say if someone wins? What are we going to say if someone loses? How are we going to handle it if it goes this direction? So what they were doing is they were practicing, doing a run through for a contested election. Essentially, shit goes sideways and, the election is not figured out that night. And so they all went to breakout groups on the Zoom call where someone was representing Donald Trump's organization, and then he was representing like the Supreme Court. I think he was just actually, he was really got into character for Brett Kavanaugh. He was just like, I I can't even without laughing. It's too funny. But anyway, so he pulled out his penis and he started masturbating during the call, thinking that he had turned off the camera. You know, they have the camera mute section on the Zoom call. He had thought he had pressed that button. But doesn't the screen go black when you do that? Like at least your portion of the screen?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
That is absolutely insane, Hoadley.
I think he kind of also tilted it down
toward his dick.
Yes, not I think on purpose. I think he thought he had it muted or off.
Oh yeah, maybe he was
kind of tilting. So maybe the face wouldn't be. I don't know. But
he was tilting it down so he didn't have to look at his own face while he was whacking off, which I can understand that. I've started putting a hood over my head. When I'm in my own fantasy, I don't want anything to disturb me. Like the Freddy Krueger-ness of my own head. I'm not even in my own fantasies anymore. It's just whatever. www.tcbpodcast.com is where you go to read all the show notes. You can find out more about Krissy and I. You can listen to all of the episodes and watch all of the episodes now on YouTube. So please go to YouTube, check us out. Here we are. Look at my ever-changing wall back here. Do you like that?
I do.
My father-in-law's in town, and so he's like Mr. Handyman. He's like building an entire structure in my backyard for some extra shit that we have, extra storage type stuff, tools. Those tools only get used when he's here. So I use none of those tools. I do not know how to use a tool. I wouldn't care about the tool if it came my way. It's just not my thing, but it's his thing. So in order to keep my tools, which are actually his tools, it covered, he is building me like a modern farmhouse back there. I mean, it looks better than my home. I know. It's so crazy. But then in between that, at night, after he's had a beer, he'll come in here and he'll just tinker around and put stuff up. Yeah. It looks really nice. Yeah. So real funny story. Astrid came in here and she had one of those, sometimes you put around your house with those cute little signs that say motivational things oh yeah, I love those. Be here now. Or I know you have a number of those around your house too, yes. But it was be the change you want to see in others or whatever it was. Right. And she's like, what about putting it right here? And I'm like, Astrid, if you listen to the commercial break, be the change you want to see in others. It's not what needs to be on the back of this wall, but God bless her heart. She was trying. So go to YouTube and then you can see all of this wonderful stuff. Make sure that you subscribe to the Break Room. The Break Room is a little club that we have and it's going to be expanding. We're going to be doing live shows and all kind of great stuff. When you go to the website, you click on join the Break Room or it'll pop up right there for you. Just put your name and your email address in. There is no charge and you get access to the after show, which is additional content after every episode. Krissy and I stay a little bit longer just for you. We click the overtime card like the Toobs. Krissy and I take a short 3-minute break. I put down my laptop,
take care of business. And then we're back for the
TCB. After show. TCB, taking care of business. There's a TCB podcast out there. I want you to know that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Too.
There's the commercial break. And then we've been using TCB as obviously it's a cool little short thing to say, right? The commercial break, but there's an actual TCB podcast and I am waiting for a cease and desist from them because they're they're all about Elvis. Taking care of business. It's all about Elvis. Right. It is very milquetoast. It's a good show actually, but if you like Elvis, I guess, but it's very milquetoast and we are not. And so if you type in the commercial break podcast, their results will sometimes come up as will when you type in TCB podcast. Some of our results will come in. So I'm sure that they're none too happy about this. No, for sure not.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings. How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
How was your weekend? You went, it's Jeff's birthday. It was Jeff's birthday on Wednesday of last week.
Jeff's birthday.
Yeah.
So we took a little short trip up to the mountains.
Good for you.
A little North Georgia mountain action.
Getting up there.
It was beautiful. Right on the water.
Crisp, clean air of the home of the KKK.
The leaves are changing right now. So it was so pretty. There was a meteor shower.
Oh, really?
Place, so we got to see that. It was beautiful stars at night. It was very, very nice.
So when
I had to come back to
reality. Yeah, I think we've been on vacation now a couple times too since the pandemic started, just down to Northeast Florida, and it's nice to be somewhere besides your own home. I think it helps break up the monotony a little bit. Mm-hmm. But you're really just doing the same thing that you did.
Yeah.
Or do you guys feel like it, like you can like take it the extra mile when you go on vacation? Like we're really going to relax. We're going to put down the phones. We're going to have an extra cocktail. We're going to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. Well, first of all, I didn't have cell service, so.
You didn't?
You had to put down the
Were you guys like, is it a cabin like way up there?
It was kind of back tucked away.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just because we were higher up on a mountain or closer to the river or the stream. I don't know, but but we did have Wi-Fi.
You can really see the stars up there. Did you see any meteors?
We did.
Did you see any meteors, or did you think you saw any meteors?
Right. It could have been both. After a couple cocktails.
Oh Lord.
No, we did.
You know, I remember when my parents used to own that cabin up there, and we would go up there.
Yes.
Oh man, you could see a million stars.
It's so beautiful to get away from the light.
Gorgeous.
Just
see the tail of the Milky Way, waiting for it all to come crashing down. Wondering at which 2020. Wondering at which point in 2020 it's all going to come crashing down. Yeah. Meanwhile, here on Earth, right, we cannot collectively get our shit together. But the geniuses at NASA have somehow figured out a way to get however big it is. I think it's the size of a car. They said they figured out how to get a fucking spaceship to circle an asteroid going 1,000,000 miles per hour, 212 million miles away from Earth. They've been so NASA sends up this machine and they say, hey, go follow this asteroid around that's circling around our universe at, 1,000,000 miles per hour. Find it, hang out with it for a couple of months, take some good photographs, figure out where you're going to land yourself, then land yourself for 10 fucking seconds, pick up some rocks and head back home. Mm-hmm. And it did it.
Amazing.
It's unbelievable.
I know. I was reading about this. I love anything to do with space. So
me too. For some reason, I feel like because I want to be there. Like I don't want to be here anymore.
Right. It's just so interesting. We just don't know. I feel like we just don't even know really what's going on out there.
We have no fucking clue. I'm sure of that. Yeah, I'm positive of it. But what amazes me is that NASA can get up there, meet up with the asteroid, then have this thing travel around the asteroid, right? And I know that there's like physics involved in this. Is some shit, math or some shit that's involved in calculating how you do all this. You think so?
Yeah, there's calculations that have to kind of happen in order for them to predict.
Hey, Bob, did you put the math in the spaceship before it left?
I thought you said we didn't get to put math in this one.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Well, I sure hope it makes it where it's going.
Did you ever go to space camp?
Space camp?
I wanted to go to space camp.
Shit, yeah, I went to space camp. Me and little Jeffery Toobin Jr. Two of us went to space camp together. I'll tell you what, Jeffery Toobin's running around space camp down there in Huntsville, Alabama, whacking his doodle all around. Every time we had a space class, it's all of a sudden it's Toobs hanging out of the pants.
Toobs, classic.
I went to space camp and I got suspended from school for 2 days.
I always wanted to go to space camp.
Yeah, space camp was cool. We just went there for a night. We went we went on the short version. We went on the poor people's version of space camp. Space camp is, for those of you that don't know, is here in the United States in Huntsville, Alabama. Yep. And it's basically just like a museum. But they, I think at one point do they have a control center there or something like that?
Yeah, no, it was a whole camp. Like you could go weightless and do weightless things. And
it's where kids train to be an astronaut in a fun way. It's like a educational program. It's like an outreach program for science. But I think then they actually, some of the astronauts do or have done some training at that facility.
Yes.
And then they have, like old spaceships hanging around and stuff like that. So it was really cool as a kid. It was really cool. And since it was close to Atlanta here, it was not uncommon for you to go to space camp on a night. They had like a 3-night, and then a 3-month space camp that you would do during the summer. And so we went for one night with the rest of the classrooms. I think we were in 6th grade, and then we stayed at like a local whatever. I mean, Hampton Inn or whatever it was. And it was me, and it was so it was 4 kids to a room. And so it's 2 and 2 beds. And then they had the hall monitors. I think we had like a whole hall for both the class that went. And then they had not hall monitors, but parents that came and whatever.
Chaperones.
So we decided the best idea. Someone had bought a giant bag of pixie sticks. One of the kids. And then they ordered a pizza for every room for dinner. And then, somebody brought this big bag of pixie sticks and other candies. And so I don't remember what happens because I think I was in a cocaine induced, like a sugar induced cocaine high.
Right, a pixie dust high.
But somehow the pixie dust, they had in the hotel room, sometimes they had their own radiator air conditioning units. Yes. You know what I'm talking about? And so they would just blow the air right out. So what us geniuses did is we stuck the pizza to the ceiling. We put the pixie dust into the air conditioning unit and turned it on. I mean, we just destroyed this fucking room, and it was not a fun ride home. Let's put it that way. But what amazes me is that I can't get my microphone. Like Krissy and I, just to give you an indication of just how fucking stupid we are about all this podcasting and vodcasting and stuff like that. So Krissy and I can't get podcast to record correctly. 1 out of 5 times that we try, we have to re-record because for some reason some button doesn't work. But these fucking geniuses over at NASA who really are like amazing human beings doing amazing things as teams, like hundreds of people doing this together. I can't even agree about which kind of pizza we're going to get with my wife. And these people are building spaceships that circle around a fucking asteroid, drop themselves down, touch down for 10 seconds and head out. 10 seconds at 100 million miles per hour, however fast it's going. Krissy, that's amazing.
It really is. I know they were saying they were going to bring back samples that could clue in to life.
Yeah, like because the
beginning of life or something, the beginning of everything.
I think the rock, they said, is like it would have been created less than 100 million years old, the universe being 100 million years old. So they think that it holds like some key to something. I don't know what they're looking for, but that's more math shit.
I'm interested to hear what they find.
Hey, the rocks came back. What do you want me to do with them?
Throw them in some water, see if they grow like those little, the little seahorses you got.
Oh yeah, little seahorses. Okay, I'm gonna throw all these rocks in the water.
Shake them around, see what color they turn.
That's a good idea, Bob.
If I ran NASA, I'd be like, we got the rock. But I was thinking about this. What happens if the rocks come back and they've got like some rock disease, like some space rock disease that annihilates Earth?
Yeah, well, they're going to be looking for that, and I'll tell you why I know this. Because
look at Krissy;
I've been doing a little bit of traveling.
You are so
lately,
smart.
And I was coming back from visiting my sister, as you know, that I went to go see her a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there's another podcast. It's National Geographic podcast. And it's very, very interesting. They're short, like 15, 20 minute long things. And
too long for me.
This woman was on there talking about how she's trained to look for, her specialty is tiny microscopic little aliens. Basically
like microbic
yes,
life.
Microbes.
Yeah.
Yes. Microbic life.
Well, that's kind of been my
So I think she's probably in there looking at the rocks.
What's this woman's name?
I would have to get back and look.
See, you're not really paying attention for 20 minutes. I caught you. I got you. I mean, if you're going to cite references, please. On this show, cite your references. I don't want anybody calling me up and hold, please. We don't have that kind of time. I got to get back to 90 Day Fiance.
No, I'm done with that for a while.
Okay, good. Did you and Jeff have a serious talk? Did Jeff
No,
I
had a serious talk with myself. I was like, you're leaning on this too much.
You're leaning on it too much. It can get to be a little bit of a hole. But one of the questions that I had about these space rock shit is it's possible, very possible, that microbic life comes back with spaceships, rockets. I mean, we don't know what's out there really. And we're not checking the space shuttle or the whatever comes back now. I don't even know what they do. The Tesla rocket. We're not checking it head to toe every time for microbic
I think
organisms. You think that when they land one of those big space rockets from wherever it went to, like when it goes up into the,
don't they come back into the ocean a lot of times?
They do. So what if those microbes are just like falling off into the ocean and then creating ocean monsters, essentially?
I hope so.
I mean, have you ever seen some shit down in the bottom of the ocean? There's some scary shit down there.
I want to see the Loch Ness monster.
I'm not even talking about the Loch Ness monster. I'm talking about, like, have you ever seen a really big bass? It's all really scary.
You know, the ocean is a complete other world.
When we went to Italy on a cruise, my wife and I, when we were leaving one of the docks at night, and the fluorescent, whatever they call it, the fluorescent algae, the ship was breaking the water and it was disturbing the fluorescent algae. It was the most amazing thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. Yeah. It was crazy. It was like,
so much.
Yeah, I felt like I was at a Dead show in 1988. It was weird. It was really weird. And I was like, that's the kind of shit we're bringing back from space. I think that we should have a policy here in the United States that we should be checking from stip to stern every single spaceship and spaceman that comes back from wherever they come back from for microbic shit. You never know. Coronavirus could have come from the International Space Station.
Could have.
Probably did. Fucking Chinese people is what it was. The China virus.
Oh, Gina.
You have a vagina, don't you? I was in a conversation with someone. They actually called coronavirus the China virus.
Oh.
And I stopped them. And I was like, it's not the China virus. It's coronavirus. And then they went on the spiel. And I was like, do you know how fucking ignorant that sounds? I actually said this to this person. I said, do you know how fucking ignorant that sounds? You sound like an Igna fucking Ramus right now. Like the China virus.
Oh.
You know, do we call the chicken pox the US virus? We don't, because we're not sure where it started. So we can't really call it the US virus. But
it's the problem that's happening in the world.
It's a world problem. Now, do I agree it may have come from China? Yes. But I'm pretty convinced that it probably wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but pretty convinced that it wasn't on purpose. But when you say that, it's fucking ignorant. When you say China virus, it's fucking ignorant. But you know what? There's lots of people out there who agrees with it. So there you go. I was talking with a friend of mine. This is an interesting story. So this friend of mine has been part of a dating service, a service like an actual service that hooks you up on a date. So they hook you up on blind dates. So one of the blind dates was a couple of weeks
Bumble?
Yeah, kind of like Bumble, but they're actual real people that are involved in the swiping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like an actual dating service, like matchmaker, like high-end matchmaker type stuff. Not like, you know,
yeah, it's like you answer some questions.
Yeah, not like Craigslist.
It's an interview type thing.
Yeah. Not like Backpages.
Yes.
Where I'm used to finding my dates. So they go on a blind date and they show up at the, they're texting each other at this restaurant. The service sets up the reservation. Then you have to go and meet whoever. And my understanding is that you don't really know who you're meeting. You don't even see a picture beforehand. But so he shows up at the restaurant and in walks like a young lady. He says is like, he describes her as a linebacker for the 49ers. She's like 6'3", shoulders that are like a wingspan that was like an eagle, right? And he's like, it's just not for me. Like instantaneously, it's not for me. I'm physically, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
And there's the playoff game, the Braves playoff game to see if they're going to get in the World Series. Is that night starts at 9:00. I guess they have dinner sometime between 6 and 6:30. She shows up a couple minutes late. They get to the table. They order a couple cocktails. And my friend is like, listen, I'm going to be polite. As I always would, I'm going to be polite. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have dinner, and then we're going to get out of here, right? Basically.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to make the game.
He says something. I think this is so true and pretty funny. So they start talking. He says she just was not going to be quiet, right? She just kept talking. He was asking questions as you should on a first date. She kept answering at length. And I imagine it would be like going on a date with Brian Green, right? She just wouldn't shut up talking about herself. So the waitress keeps on coming by. Hey, y'all ready to order? You have any questions about the menu? Da, da, da. And my friend wants to order, right? And the young lady is like, oh, no, just give us a few more minutes. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So the waitress keeps coming back. My friend keeps saying, are you ready to order? Like, I think I know what I want. She's kind of egging it on. So finally, my friend goes, listen, why don't we order and we can continue to talk, but at least we'll have some food. I'm a little hungry. And by the way, I do plan on being home at 9:00, right? Just trying to be polite and let the young lady know. So she says, I think I can be ready. You go first. I think I can be ready. And the waitress asks the following question. Have either of y'all been here before? And my friend is like, instantaneously says, yes, I have been here. Even though he hadn't been there before. He says, yep, been here before. Know all about all the specials. I know about everything. Yeah.
Yes.
He says, the girl goes, no, I haven't. Can you tell me about this? Tell me about it. Her and the waitress.
Like a special restaurant that had a theme or something?
I mean, all restaurants have a theme.
Yeah.
They're trying not to go under. But so, yeah, that's the theme. So then that's a whole different 15-minute conversation between the waitress and the date is, right. What do we have? The chicken's name was Fred, and we killed him yesterday organically. It's grass-fed grass, grass-fed grass, and our cheese comes from squirrel farts, and it's not made. No one was harmed in the making of this. Whatever the bullshit is, and he said every time a waiter or waitress comes up to your table and asks the following question. Have you ever been here before? The answer should always be, yes, I have been here before. Yeah. Unless you really are that interested. Unless you're really that interested in what they have to say about the restaurant, the founder, the owner, which fucking cow didn't die. It's still the whole thing that they have now. And this is so true. My wife and I went to a restaurant one time. It was raining. We pull into the restaurant. It's raining. We've never been there. We walk into the restaurant. We've never been there, but it's been on the corner near our house for years. We walk in, pouring down rain. It's a cavernous restaurant, huge restaurant, maybe 80 tables. And the prices are high. It's like a mid-high end restaurant. We sit down. We are one of only 2 tables in the entire restaurant. Oh. A young man comes over and he's like, hey, y'all, thank you so much for, I don't even remember what the place was. Let's call it, I don't know, Tina's. Hey, y'all, thank you so much for coming to Tina's today. I know you had a choice of going somewhere else today, and you came to Tina's. And so I just want to tell you how thankful we are to have you here at Tina's. Tina's restaurant is a fresh, organic, locally sourced, no cows hurt in the process. We only have organic water, organic cheese. Thank y'all for coming today. He goes on this 3.5-minute spiel right when we sit down. And we're both like looking at each other, and we're like, oh, his name is James or whatever. Thanks, James. Appreciate it. James walks away. The menu is 16 pages long. Oh, those big menus. Oh, my God. No wonder you don't have anybody sitting in the restaurant.
Well, right. You've got to pick a couple things and just do those really, really well.
You have $10 jalapeno poppers next to your $350 T-bone steak, right? It's like, It's so incredibly stupid. Anyway, that's a whole different story. The guy comes back. Krissy, what is the first thing that he says? I just thank y'all so much for showing up at Tina's today. I just know you had a choice. I know you had a choice to go somewhere else, and you came to Tina's, and this rain, and y'all came in. Thank you so much. And so then he goes, have y'all ever been here before? And I kicked Astrid under the table. And luckily, Astrid and I speak the same foot language because we were both like, yes. Yep. But he says,
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. Just if y'all have just 1 second, I'd just like to do this with everybody that comes in the door because I think it's really important. How long has it been since y'all been here? And I'm like, I go, I don't know, maybe it was like a month ago. Astrid's like, month. At the same time, I say month, and Astrid says year. Like, it was a year ago, a month ago. And he's like, oh, well, if y'all were here a month ago, things have changed. Everything has changed. It's a seasonal menu. It changes every 16 and a half days. So what I like to do is I just like to do this. I am going to go through each page and I'm going to pick out 4 to 5 options that I think are the best options and the ones that are the most popular. I'm then going to tell you which ones I think my tables order the most. And then I'm going to explain to you which ones are organic, which ones are gluten-free, which ones are vegan-free, which ones are vegetable-free. And then after that, I'm going
if you have a minute.
If you have just 1 minute, Krissy, if you don't mind. And then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you know which bottles of wine or which glasses of wine might go with those dishes. So let's start with the amuse-bouche, which is like before the appetizers, but in between the soup courses. So here we go. Ready? Krissy. 30 fucking minutes. I mean, I'm almost not exaggerating when I say 30 fucking minutes. And you can ask Astrid about this.
I'm asking her.
It was a painful, you're asking her. It was a painful experience. And this guy literally went through every fucking item in the 16-page menu to explain who, I had a customer ordered that once. They turned blue and one of their eyeballs fell out. But I personally think it's really great. And the chef's mother used to make it. The chef's mother's from Ungaria. Ungaria is where Hungary and Ugaria meet, and where Uruguay and Hungary meet. And so it's Ugaria. It's like kind of like, Texahoma. And I'm like, oh my God, guy. Okay, listen, James. So at some point I'm like, listen, James, my wife and I, we have just a few minutes here because, she's going to give birth any minute. And, she's pregnant. She's 9 months pregnant. You can't see it. It's under the table, but, my wife's actually in labor. So if we could get our stuff boxed up. So as we go about eating, every time he came to the table is another thank you. Every time he comes to the table, it's another thank you. Another 15-minute dissertation. Thank you.
Lord.
Chatty waiters are only good when either you're alone or you're really in the mood to talk, right? Mm-hmm. It's like the waiter that you and I went out to dinner one time with Jeff. You remember that? You, me, Jeff, Rachel, Astrid, we went out to a nice steakhouse here, have a nice steaky birthday.
Yes.
For whose birthday was that? Rachel's maybe? Maybe it was Rachel's birthday. I forgot. Or maybe it was Christmas of last year or something like that. We go and the guy makes the mistake of he walks up to the table and he says something about like, I don't know, what kind of wine do you want? You guys are talking about what kind of wine you want. And he goes, I love that wine. Or he was Italian. He's like, I love this wine. This wine is amazing. If it wasn't for Trump, as soon as Trump became president, we bought 750,000 bottles of this, And Jeff's like, the fuck does that have to do with anything? And he's like, well, I'm just telling you, Trump makes this business, I'm making more money now.
It was like a tariff or something.
Yeah, it was like, some tariff was released or something. And Jeff and the waiter got into it right there. Jeff's like, you shouldn't talk fucking politics at the table, dude. And I was like, whoa, do you remember that? Yeah. I was like, whoa. Jeff went at him. He was like, dude, you should shut the fuck up about Trump because I don't want to hear it, Yeah. And he's like, well, I think we can all agree the economy is so much better under Trump. And Jeff was like, I don't think we can all agree on anything. You just leave right now. It was the best. It was the best.
And it was Christmas. It was like around a game. Like there was a big.
Oh, it was like the Georgia-Florida game or something. I don't know. Oh, no, it was the championship game, the Alabama and Georgia. That's right. Yeah. Or whatever. I don't even know. Whatever it was.
It was on the corner of Douchebag and Foolery.
Yeah, Douchebag and Shithead Avenue. That restaurant's classic. That's classic Toobs.
Classic Toobs.
Guess who?
Is it you, Toobs? Oh my God, that was classic. So the point of the story is when a waiter or waitress, in my opinion, when a waiter or waitress ever ask you if you've been to the restaurant before, you just fucking say yes. And let's all move on with life. Yes. When I was a waiter, I never wanted to answer that question. And I was a waiter for a while. I never wanted, I was praying that you would say, yes, I've been here before.
Yeah, because otherwise you got to go through the spiel.
I don't want to go through the spiel. No. I don't want to do it. And then there's, sometimes you get the waiter or waitress who know you've been there before, yet they can continue to give you the spiel even though you've been there before. Mm-hmm. It's like, just spare me the bullshit.
Spare me the bullshit, please.
Classic.
Classic Toobs. That's classic Toobs.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings. How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
Whatever kind of night you're having, start it off right with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Whether you're mixing up a bullet bourbon old-fashioned for a cozy night in, or a Kettle One Bloody Mary bar for a birthday brunch, you can get the perfect beer, wine, and spirits for any occasion delivered with Drizzly. So,
what's it gonna be?
Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com to choose your drinks today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
I went to a restaurant one time and I was on a date and the date left me. Like, I mean, this was like not a blind date, but it was like it was a first or a second date.
Yeah.
And, she saw a text message come through on my phone, right? And we'd been dating for like 16 seconds. She saw a text message come through on my phone and she threw a hissy fit right there. You know, that's it. And then, you didn't tell me you're taping another thing. She left.
Oh, no.
The waitress was from like Yugoslavia or something. And she comes up and she's going, I saw your date leave very angry. I'm very sorry to hear this. Would you like to hear today's specials? I'll take the check. I think we just broke up.
Yeah.
I additionally
drink and the check.
I also broke up with my wife. Very sad.
Oh, look, it's Henry from Podcast Universe. Henry.
It's a very sad day here at the Fonda household because me and my wife, we have broken up. It's official. I found her. She was in Hollywood. Things were not going well. I don't want to talk a lot about it, but let's just say this. I found her in bed with The Rock and Ryan Seacrest at the same time.
Ooh. That sounds like a meatball sandwich.
In more ways than one. It was ugly. It looked like a pig roast.
Oh, Henry, that's a little graphic.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. It was a horrible thing.
So, Henry, what happened exactly?
Well, you know, my wife left me about 2 years ago, and I've been looking for her ever since. I've been trying to use most of the money I'm making here at the Podcast Universe. We are always here to help your ego. I've been using most of the money to find private detectives to find my wife. And many times they would call and say, I don't think you're really married to this woman.
What was your wife's name again?
Ariana Grande.
I thought it was Selena Gomez.
Well, I mean, it depends on which day. She goes by this or she goes by that. But the point is we're now broken up. And it wasn't a great day for my breakup because I don't know if you heard, but podcast.uk is not doing so well.
What happened to podcast.uk?
I accidentally started it in the wrong country.
Oh, Henry, I'm so sorry. That's so sad.
So I was wondering if it might be okay if I could borrow Krissy for a couple of days. Krissy, would you come over and please help me get through this very difficult time in my life?
I like to help people, so yes.
You are so sweet. Okay, listen. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a few grams of Coke and a couple of bottles of champagne. No, this is what my psychiatrist has recommended.
Now we're talking.
Yes, now we're talking. Now I knew you liked to party like this.
Wow, you made her mad. That you sound much better now.
Hey, listen, things are looking up for me now. I've got Chrissy Hoadley. Fuck Ariana Grande. Who is she? She's like, this is some peanut. I mean, who is she? What has she done?
She's like a famous actress and a musician.
That's what she says, but I don't really believe her. But anyway, Krissy, listen, you and me, we're going to go to Tina's. It's a great restaurant I know about. They have they have anything you need. I'm telling you, I know this great waiter named James. He's going to take care of us. And additionally, if you want to bring Jeff with, I've got a closet Jeff can sleep in. There's no problems with that. So tell Jeff he's got a closet. There's a lock on the outside. We can make sure he feels safe and comfortable. I know he doesn't like scary movies. So, what do you say? I come pick you up today about 6:30?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds like a good plan.
Bryan, I need an advance on the next banner ad buy, if you don't mind.
Wait. I didn't agree to that. You still haven't got me my impressions from the last banner ad buy.
I told you they're coming. It just takes a little slow for our system to work it up. Don't worry about it.
Okay. What kind of advance do you need?
Let's see. 1/8 bottle of cocaine is 190 times 2 plus 3, a couple of bottles of Moet. I want to make sure I have the finest of champagnes from. Can I have $6,000?
$6,000? That's like more than your website cost.
Well, no, my website costs $700 and I still haven't put it up yet. But don't worry, I'm going to get to it real soon.
Okay, Henry. I think you got a date with Krissy. I think things are looking up.
I know, it's all day. And listen, I don't want Jeff to think that I'm upset with him. As a matter of fact, I sang happy birthday to him last week. I feel like our friendship is on the mend. I think, it's just one of those things. Me and Jeff, we can agree to disagree. I think I'm married to Krissy. He thinks he's married to Krissy. It's just one of those things that we don't agree on. But what we can agree upon is sharing Krissy 70-30. Me 70, him 30, and the other 30% he can sleep on my couch.
Wow, you are in a generous mood today.
Generous. Very sweet.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. Do you know what the best day of your marriage is?
No. What's the best day of your marriage?
The day you get the divorce. I'm telling you, this is true. This is a true fact from my country. We have the highest divorce rate in the entire world.
Which country is that?
I'm not going to tell you right now. The Antarctica.
Antarctica? I don't even think there's anybody that lives there.
Exactly. So I'm not the first person to get a divorce. That's why the divorce rate is so high. So Hoadley, 6:30. I'll bring the cocaine and strippers. You wear something nice.
I'll be ready.
Preferably leather.
Okay, I've got it.
Do you have any dogs?
I don't have any
So
dogs.
that means you don't have any leashes. Okay, Bryan, can you make it $6,025, please? I'm going to need to pick up a leash for Jeff.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye, Henry.
We here at Podcast Universe, always here to help your ego.
I know you are. Wow, Henry broke up with his wife, but looks like he's on the mend.
Moving in.
Listen, moving on up.
Moving in.
It sounds like you're moving in with it. It sounds like you're moving in with him.
I mean, what's that? It's 2020.
Listen, I'm really sad. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, who fucking cares? It's all going to end pretty soon anyway. We're recording this a couple days after sometime after the last debate happened, and my best friend Raphael called me like at 11:45. He called me during the debate, and I said, listen, I can't talk right now. I want to watch this. I want to actually see what they have to say. And then he called me at like 11:45, and I mean, he was just upset. He was like, the whole world's going to explode. And I was like, you got to settle down, bro. It's really not going to explode. It's going to be a civil war. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen slowly. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then he went through, he said that there was a book written by Socrates about Plato, or Plato about Socrates. I can't remember what it is, called The Republic. And I guess that this book, they explain that democracy is the fourth level of hell or something. It's like, autocracy, planomacy, democracy, and then, and then Venezuela. I'm not sure what it was, something like that. But it was it was a rough conversation. And then when my business partner, I woke up this morning, also called me, and he was all stressed out too. It's like everyone's all stressed out. And don't make the assumption out there in the universe that all of my friends or all of my buddies have liberal leanings, because that's not true. So stop writing it. People are so rude online. They're so rude online. Maybe I shouldn't get into it. Maybe I should just leave it alone.
Yeah,
it is what it is. What are you going to do?
What it is.
Yeah.
There's always going to be people.
Yeah.
that
Talk shit, whatever.
have so much time to write negative.
Yeah, but I
things.
will say this. If you do tune in to Krissy and I's show, you are going to hear Krissy and I's opinion about the world around us. So if that is upsetting to you, then don't tune in. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Easy.
I know. But the thing
You
is
don't
that
even have to write a bad comment.
yeah, people hate listen. I mean, of the 3 people that we have listening, I think 2 of them hate listening to us. And they're very vocal. They're very vocal. They like to
Just turn it off. Walk
just
away.
turn it off. Don't worry about it. Things will get, there's another podcast for you. Now we're talking. Now our ancestors are talking. Imagine yourself a tree. Hard, long, straight, a little bend at the top with the wind. Then imagine the sap is pouring out of the tree, showering you with tree sap. Long, hard tree sap pouring on you.
Are you on the Calm app, Bryan? You really should be on the Calm app. I mean, it's a great, soothing voice.
I'm going to play that. I am going to play that voice message. So I gave Jeff a very special, not only did we give Jeff and Henry Fonda gave Jeff a very happy birthday song on episode number 28, if you want to listen to it, but I've sent Jeff a very happy birthday message because I felt it was necessary to send him a little daily meditation for his birthday. I'll play it. Maybe I'll play it at the beginning of this episode. So you'll have already heard it. So that's what you heard at the beginning of this episode.
Or we can play it in the break room.
Oh yeah, you know what? Let's play it on the break room. But getting back to Henry, like I have a friend who's going through a hard time with his girlfriend, like a really hard time with his girlfriend. His girlfriend's like really kind of, she's not good to him. Let's just put it that way. And it's clear that she's not good to him. Now, my general rule in life is to be true.
She's not good to him.
She's not good to him.
No.
At all. She's not good to him. She doesn't treat him well. She doesn't treat him with respect. She doesn't give him the care and the love that he needs. He keeps on giving and she keeps on taking, and that's how it goes, right? And it's clear to anyone that observes the relationship. And his therapist tells him the freaking same thing too. But, whatever. Yeah. So there was this conversation that we had, and I said, dude, maybe I have this thing. Never get in the way of anybody else's fate, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Unless your fate tells you to. Unless you feel that strongly about it.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Then be truthful without being hurtful. That's the next step. So if I feel so strongly, like the universe is tugging me to say something, right? Like you got to say something because this is the situation where you got to say something. So I said something. I said, hey, maybe it's time to break up. Just like Henry and Ariana Grande. Just like those two. You can soothe your woes with an 8-ball of cocaine and some champagne too. And so I said, listen, now it's time to break up. And no, it's her dad's birthday and we're going to go up for the weekend. It's a bad time. And I said, oh, okay, we'll break up next Tuesday. No, she got this big work meeting. Things are not going to turn out. Yeah, I'm not sure that things are going to. Okay. Well, then make a plan and, you guys have the conversation with her the following Saturday.
No. Like a 21-year-old Krissy.
It sounds like
at the day.
It sounds like a 35-year-old Bryan.
Going, if he doesn't change by this time, then I'm done. And like, you really just can't be done until you're actually done. There's nothing that's going to be like Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's the day.
That's the day.
It's like, it's just going to happen when it happens. And it usually doesn't happen well.
No, it doesn't. And that was my point to him was, hey, listen, there is never going to be a good day. There's never going to
be a good time. Mm-mm.
Her birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, New Year's, Dad's birthday. I know. And the holidays, I know that people really, I know people who have waited till after the holidays to break up with somebody, like literally January 2nd. See you later. Which is a shitty thing to do. Why is it a shitty thing to do? Because you are stringing someone along and you're wasting your own fucking time. Mm-hmm. And my bottom line advice was, there's never a good time to break up. There's always a good time to break up. And that good time is now. Now when you don't feel good about the situation and you feel like you're being hurt, right? If it's not benefiting you,
then it's time to go. And it doesn't matter what day it is. Big meeting, Christmas. I mean, listen, if it's actual Christmas, okay, Christmas Day, maybe that's, Christmas Day, birthday. Okay, maybe those 2 days. Valentine's Day. Yeah. You just had a heart attack. You're sick with coronavirus, whatever, those type of things I can understand. Whenever you're a total dick. But her dad's birthday or, the fucking 49ers game, it's like, come on, man. Yeah. Cares? Gives a shit, right?
Right.
Who gives a shit? You have to take the action and do it now. There's never a good time to break up.
You're really just wasting precious time.
And your own. And I think that you're just excuse making when you're doing that. But I've been there, so I totally understand.
It's avoidance.
It's avoidance. That's right.
You don't want to have the whole and actually deal with it. But you're just prolonging the inevitable.
I was going to break up with.
I've never heard anybody be like, we were really, really close to breaking up, and I wanted to break up with them for 6 months, but then
things turned around.
Thanksgiving hit, and thank God I didn't break up because everything changed.
Let me tell you something. I went to her dad's birthday party and I saw a whole new woman. Everything was fantastic.
Everything works good now.
Painted in blue. Great. Yeah, that's it. Unbelievable. Listen, you're so right about this too, is that things ain't not going to change because because it's fucking International Turtle Day, or whatever the bullshit is. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. You got to go. I one time told you, Chrissy Hoadley, I'm going to break up with her tomorrow. And 3 years later, was in your apartment crying about how I was going to break up with her tomorrow.
And really, the only thing you can do as a good friend is be supportive. That's what I've found. That's the way I found it. I'm like, yes, I will commiserate you when things are bad, but I also can't hold a grudge.
No.
Together.
Yeah.
Then that hurts your friendship.
I agree with you about that. Yeah.
And so you gotta just sit back and watch the train wreck that's happening.
I agree with you here that your relationship with your significant other, unless it's detrimental specifically to my own well-being, is neither here nor there for me. Yeah. I always love you, brother.
Yes.
Sister.
Exactly.
Friend, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just hate to, this friend is hurting and I hate to see that. That's what the bottom line is. And I think I think sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees. And because I've been there, because I was one time told you I was going to break up with her tomorrow and 3 years later was still telling you I was going to break up with her tomorrow, because I've been there, I just don't want to see a repeat of that. I'd much prefer to give my wisdom, impart my wisdom. But at the end of the day, you can't save somebody from their own fate, right?
Tell me he's got till February 1st. That's it.
Valentine's Day. That's the target breakup day.
Before
Valentine's Day.
That's the thing. You got to get in before Valentine's Day.
When I was speaking of waiters,
January.
Yeah. Speaking of waiters, when I was a waiter, do you know that on Valentine's Day, the busiest fucking day of the year for restaurants, I saw many. I'd say many. Probably maybe I can think of 3 or 4. Breakups or arguments. I actually saw a proposal that someone said no and started crying and walked out. It was fucking nuts. They were shit faced. I'm sure that they both woke up kicking themselves in the fucking teeth, just thinking about how embarrassed they were. But it turned into a huge argument in the middle of the restaurant. She walked out in tears, threw the box down, and was like, "Go walk here, go." It was really crazy. We could do a whole show. But maybe someday we'll do a whole show and we'll get people who have been waiters or waitresses to call in or to write in their craziest stories about waiters, waitresses, or bartenders. Do that. info@tcbpodcast.com. If you're a waiter, waitress, or bartender, or you have been, and you've got a crazy story, and I know all of you do because I worked in the industry, and it's just, you can work in the industry for one day and you'll have a crazy story because it's a fucking nutty industry.
It is.
Write in, tell us a little bit about the story, and then we'll either call you up live on air, or we can, you can write the story and we can read it if you don't feel comfortable on air. Okay, here's what's going to go on. www.tcbpodcast.com. Join the break room. That's our little after show that we're going to do right here, right now. After 5 minutes, I'm going to go Toobs it out, and then I'm going to go get me a Toobin real quick, and then
in for that quick break.
That's right. I'm going to go lubing my Toobin.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Take this
Hey,
time
listen,
to do it-
it's
do it
2020,
well.
equal opportunity. And then we're going to do the after show. The after show is 15 to 20 minutes of extra content. There is it's absolutely free. There's no obligation to buy. You can go ahead and join it at tcbpodcast.com. Make sure you join us on the socials at The Commercial Break on Instagram. I've got a Twitter. TCB Bryan is my Twitter. That's my Twitter handle. TCB Bryan.
TCB Bryan.
What do you think about that one?
I love it.
So follow me. I just started it yesterday. So if you see 0 followers, it's me. Yeah, but I don't have the little verified check yet. I think they only do that for people that actually matter.
Yeah, I think so too.
And we want to say thank you to the so many people who have joined the commercial break over the last couple of weeks. I want to thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
You can watch us on YouTube. Find that YouTube channel at tcbpodcast.com. Actually, the videos are up there on TCB Podcast. You can just watch it. tcbpodcast.com. So you can just watch it right there. And what else? I'd still like to
dress up for Halloween.
We're going to dress up for Halloween, and I'm thinking about doing a live show. More information about that, but you must join the break room in order to do that. So, yeah.
I've already been thinking about my costume.
Have you really? Mm-hmm. I got to think about mine. Shit, I don't know. I'm gonna borrow my little son's Disney PJ Masks costume.
You should.
It's a little superhero gecko. I'm thinking about doing that. What do you think?
I like it.
Okay, until next Tuesday. Oh, and by the way, we changed the show to Tuesdays in case you hadn't noticed. I just forgot to leave that out. Until next Tuesday, I'm Bryan. That's Krissy. We're good friends. You've been listening to The Break Room. Bye.
Bye. Love you.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, an infant formula company on a mission to get a lot closer to the most superfood on the planet, breast milk. Our patented protein blend has more of the important and most abundant proteins actually found in breast milk. We're the first and only U.S.-made formula to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, not skim. We even conducted the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in a quarter century, with clinically proven benefits like easier digestion, less spit up, and softer poops versus a leading infant formula. And we make our own formula in the USA and our very own factories in Iowa, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
To get access to the commercial break after show, go to tcbpodcast.com and join the break room. You'll get access to the after show, YouTube extras, live shows, and much more. Follow at The Commercial Break on Instagram and Facebook. It's that squiggly little email thing, @The Commercial Break. The Commercial Break is written and produced by Brian Green, co-hosted by Chrissy Hoadley. The Commercial Break returns next Wednesday with an all-new episode. We are available on most podcast providers. Tune us in and ride it out.
Hi, Bryan, it's your mom.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
Be a barbecue hero with delicious, ultra-low net-carb Hero Bread, buns, and tortillas. Soft and fluffy, high in fiber, and with 0 grams of sugar, up to 10 grams of protein, coming in at under 100 calories per serving. Oh, and did I mention they taste like their mouth-watering traditional versions? I mean, what's not to love? Use code AH10 for 10% off your first Hero Bread purchase at hero.co. That's AH10 for 10% off at hero.co.
Breast milk science. It's a thing, and it's our thing. We're ByHeart. We're an infant formula company on a mission to get a lot closer to the most superfood on the planet, breast milk. Our patented protein blend has more of the important and most abundant proteins found in breast milk. We're the first and only U.S.-made formula to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, not skim. We make our formula in our own factories in Iowa, Oregon, and Pennsylvania, using a small batch manufacturing process that works to preserve the integrity of our ingredients. We ran the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in 25 years and clinically proved benefits like easier digestion, less gas, and softer poops versus a leading infant formula. We were the first infant formula company to earn the Clean Label Project Purity Award. And while we've put a lot into ByHeart, there's a long list of things you won't see on our ingredient list, like no corn syrup, no maltodextrin, no GMO ingredients, no soy, no palm oil. ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.